Just last week, I was standing in the produce section at Whole Foods, watching my dear friend Margaret stare longingly at a display of gorgeous red strawberries. She sighed and shook her head, pushing her cart right past them. When I asked her why, she said something that broke my heart. "Oh, Grace, I missed them so much, but Dr. Peterson told me to stay away from sweet fruits because of my diabetes." Friends, what if I told you that some of the sweetest, most beloved fruits we've been taught to fear might actually be our greatest allies in managing blood sugar? What if those ruby red strawberries, those plump purple grapes, and that crisp apple from your childhood could actually help stabilize your glucose levels while bringing back the simple joys we deserve in our golden years? I'm Grace, and I've spent the last 15 years researching nutrition for seniors after my own diabetes diagnosis at 62. Today, I'm going to share 5 familiar fruits that science now shows can be diabetes-friendly when enjoyed mindfully. But here's what's crucial. I'll also reveal the hidden imposter fruits that might be sabotaging your efforts without you even knowing it. Miss this information, and you could be unknowingly undermining months of careful eating. Before we begin this journey together, if you're new to our Golden Years Wellness family, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. And let me know you're here with us. Type A1 in the comments if you're excited to discover these sweet surprises, or a 0 if there's something specific you'd like me to address. Your presence here means the world to me, and we're all walking this path together. Let me start with those beautiful strawberries that caught Margaret's eye. It reminds me of my neighbor Eleanor from down on Maple Street. She's 83, been managing diabetes for 12 years, and she told me the most heartbreaking thing last spring. She said, "Grace, I used to grow strawberries in my backyard garden with my late husband Frank. We'd sit on the porch every June evening, sharing a bowl and watching the sunset. But now, I can't even walk past the farmer's market without feeling guilty." Well, Eleanor, and anyone else listening, science has some wonderful news for us. Those gorgeous red strawberries that seem so sinfully sweet are actually packed with something called anthocyanins. These are powerful plant compounds that actually slow down how quickly sugar enters our bloodstream. Imagine that. The very fruit we've been avoiding might help prevent those scary blood sugar spikes we worry about. But strawberries don't stop there, dear friends. They're absolutely brimming with antioxidants that help reduce the inflammation many of us deal with. Those achy joints on rainy mornings, that persistent tiredness that seems to settle in our bones. The gentle fiber in strawberries also supports our digestive systems, which can become more sensitive as we age. It's like getting a warm hug from nature, working quietly to care for us from the inside out. Now here's how I love to enjoy them, and how I taught Eleanor to embrace them again. Try a small bowl of fresh strawberries, maybe 6 or 7 medium ones, as an afternoon treat. Pair them with a handful of almonds from Trader Joe's, or a dollop of plain Greek yogurt from Phage. The protein and healthy fats help balance out the natural sweetness, creating a perfect harmony that your body will thank you for. Eleanor tried this approach last summer, checking her blood sugar before and after. To her amazement, not only did her levels stay stable, but she felt energized and satisfied for hours. She called me that evening, and I could hear the joy in her voice as she said, "Grace, I had strawberries on my porch again today, and I felt Frank sitting right there beside me." That's what this is really about, isn't it? It's not just about blood sugar numbers. It's about reclaiming the simple pleasures that make life beautiful. It's about not letting fear steal away the sweetness, literally and figuratively, from our golden years. Listen to your body. Start small. And remember that strawberries can be wonderful allies on this journey. Speaking of unexpected allies, let me tell you about grapes. Those little purple and green gems that hang in gorgeous clusters at every grocery store. My friend Robert, who lives over in the senior community at Sunset Gardens, used to shake his head every time he passed them. "Too much sugar," he'd mutter, remembering his doctor's warnings from years ago. But here's something fascinating that Robert didn't know. And maybe you don't either. Those dark purple grapes, especially the skin, contain something scientists call resveratrol. Now, I know that sounds like a fancy chemistry term, but think of it as nature's own blood sugar helper. Research from universities across the country has shown that resveratrol can actually improve how our bodies use insulin. And that becomes incredibly important as we get older and our metabolism naturally slows down. You see, grapes aren't just about blood sugar management. They're packed with antioxidants that fight inflammation throughout our bodies. Think about those mornings when your knees remind you of every flight of stairs you climbed yesterday, or when your shoulders feel tight from gardening. The natural compounds in grapes work gently to ease that chronic inflammation that can make our golden years less comfortable than they should be. And here's something Robert discovered that changed everything for him. Grapes are incredibly convenient. When that 3 o'clock sweet craving hits, you know the one I'm talking about, instead of reaching for a cookie or candy bar, he keeps a small container of chilled grapes in his refrigerator. Sometimes he pairs them with a small piece of aged cheddar from the local farmer's market. The combination is absolutely delightful, and the protein in the cheese helps create that perfect balance we're looking for. Last month, Robert told me something that warmed my heart. He said, "Grace, yesterday I was sitting in my garden, eating grapes and cheese, and I realized I felt completely satisfied and guilt-free for the first time in years. I wasn't counting, measuring, or worrying. I was just enjoying a beautiful afternoon snack. That's the gift that mindful eating brings us. Grapes remind us that sometimes the best solutions come in the smallest, most familiar packages. They're portable, naturally portioned, and they satisfy that desire for something sweet without sending our blood sugar on a roller coaster ride. Nature has been incredibly generous with us, hasn't she? These tiny fruits that we can pop into our mouths one by one are actually working behind the scenes to support our health in ways we're just beginning to understand. Now, let's talk about perhaps the most familiar fruit of all, the humble apple. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. We've all heard that saying since childhood, haven't we? My grandmother used to say it while packing apples in my school lunch. And you know what? Modern science is proving that old wisdom remarkably accurate. I think about my friend Dorothy, who's been coming to our senior center's nutrition workshops for 2 years now. She mentioned that her late husband Jim used to bring her a Honeycrisp apple every afternoon when he'd come home from his job at the post office. After he passed, she stopped eating apples entirely. "Too many memories," she said quietly. "And besides, I worry about the sugar." Well, Dorothy, and anyone else who's given up on apples, let me share something wonderful. Apple skin and the white flesh underneath contain something called pectin. Think of it as nature's own blood sugar stabilizer. Scientists at several major universities have discovered that pectin acts like a gentle sponge in our digestive system slowing down how quickly sugars enter our bloodstream. It's absolutely remarkable how this simple fruit has been quietly supporting our health all along. But pectin doesn't stop there. It's incredibly gentle on our digestive systems, helping with regularity, something many of us deal with as we age. It also supports healthy cholesterol levels, giving our hearts an extra layer of protection. All of this from something as simple as an apple, something as familiar as breathing. What I love about apples is their incredible versatility. Dorothy has discovered this too. Sometimes she enjoys thin apple slices with a tablespoon of natural peanut butter from the local health store. Other days, she bakes apple slices with a sprinkle of cinnamon, the warmth filling her kitchen with memories of happier times. She's even started adding diced apples to her morning oatmeal, creating a breakfast that keeps her satisfied until lunch. Last week, Dorothy brought me a small container of baked apple slices she'd made with cinnamon and a touch of nutmeg. As we sat together enjoying them, she smiled and said, "You know, Grace, I think Jim would be happy to know I'm taking care of myself this way." Apples connect us to our past while supporting our future. They're simple, accessible, and forgiving, much like the best friendships in our lives. Now, here's where some of you might raise an eyebrow. Mangoes. I can practically hear some of you saying, "Grace, surely you're not serious about mangoes." My neighbor Harold from the retirement community certainly thought I'd lost my mind when I mentioned it. "Those things are like candy," he protested. "My doctor would have my head." But Harold, like many of us, was thinking about mango the wrong way. Yes, a ripe mango is wonderfully sweet. But here's what Harold didn't know. When we eat mango mindfully, including that fiber-rich flesh closest to the skin, we're getting an incredible amount of dietary fiber that naturally slows sugar absorption. It's all about how we approach it. Let me tell you what happened when Harold decided to try my suggestion. Instead of eating half a large mango in one sitting, he started with just 3 or 4 small slices, paired with a small container of plain Greek yogurt. The protein and fat in the yogurt work together with the mango's natural fiber to create a beautifully balanced treat that satisfies without overwhelming his system. But mangoes offer us so much more than just blood sugar management. They're absolutely loaded with vitamin C. More than many citrus fruits, actually. As we age, our immune systems need all the support they can get, especially during cold and flu season. The vitamin A in mangoes supports our vision and skin health, 2 things that become increasingly important as we navigate our 70s and 80s. Harold was amazed to discover that his afternoon mango and yogurt combination kept him satisfied for hours. No 3 o'clock energy crash, no desperate search through the pantry for something sweet. "Grace," he told me last month, "I never thought I'd say this, but that little taste of the tropics has become the highlight of my afternoon." There's something almost magical about mango, isn't there? The bright orange color, the exotic sweetness, the way it transports us to somewhere warm and sunny, even on the dreariest winter day here in Ohio. It reminds us that healthy eating doesn't have to mean depriving ourselves of life's beautiful flavors. The key with mango, as with all of these wonderful fruits, is mindfulness and moderation. Start small. Pay attention to how your body responds, and don't be afraid to experiment with combinations that bring you joy. Maybe it's mango with yogurt. Maybe it's a few small pieces with some nuts. Or maybe it's mixed into a morning smoothie with spinach and protein powder. Life is meant to be flavorful, especially in our golden years. Finally, let's talk about oranges. But not the way you might think. I'm not talking about that glass of orange juice you might have with breakfast. I'm talking about sitting down with a beautiful, whole orange, peeling it slowly, and savoring each juicy segment. There's a world of difference between the two, and understanding this difference might change everything for you. My friend Carol, who lives in the assisted living facility on Oak Street, used to start every morning with a large glass of orange juice. Vitamin C, she'd say, as if those two words justified everything. But Carol was unknowingly getting all the sugar from multiple oranges without any of the beneficial fiber that nature intended to come with it. It was like getting all the sweetness, but none of the protection. When Carol switched to eating one medium orange instead of drinking the juice, something beautiful happened. Those white membranes between the orange segments, the parts we sometimes try to remove, are actually treasure troves of fiber. This fiber works like a gentle brake on sugar absorption, allowing her body to process the natural sweetness gradually and comfortably. But oranges offer us so much more than blood sugar management. They're excellent sources of potassium, which becomes crucial for blood pressure management as we age. The flavonoids in oranges support circulation and may even help with memory and cognitive function. When Carol's daughter visits from California, they often share an orange together in Carol's little garden, and Carol swears those afternoons are when her mind feels sharpest and most clear. There's something almost meditative about eating an orange properly, isn't there? The process of peeling it, separating the segments, feeling the juice on your fingers, inhaling that bright, clean citrus scent. It's a form of mindfulness that our busy world often overlooks. But we seniors have earned the right to slow down and truly experience our food. Carol has discovered that a medium orange paired with a hard-boiled egg makes a perfect mid-morning snack. The protein in the egg complements the orange beautifully, keeping her energy stable and her mood bright until lunch. She's also started keeping oranges in a beautiful bowl on her kitchen counter, not just for eating, but because their vibrant color brightens her whole apartment. Last week, Carol told me something that brought tears to my eyes. She said, "Grace, when I sit with my orange in the afternoon sun coming through my window, I feel like I'm giving myself a gift. Not just the vitamin C or the fiber, but the gift of slowing down, of appreciating something simple and beautiful." Oranges remind us that sometimes the most profound nourishment comes not just from what we eat, but from how we eat it. They teach us that taking time to truly experience our food can be an act of self-love and mindfulness. Now, dear friends, this is the part I promised you at the beginning. The truth about some healthy fruits that might be working against your best efforts. Not all fruits are created equal, especially when we're managing diabetes, and some of the most deceptive ones come disguised as health foods. First, and most important, fruit juice, even the kind labeled 100% pure or no sugar added. I don't care if it's from the fanciest health food store or comes with claims about being freshly squeezed. When we remove the fiber from fruit and concentrate all that natural sugar into a glass, we've essentially created nature's version of soda. Your blood sugar will spike just as quickly from that glass of apple juice as it would from a can of Coke. My friend Janet learned this the hard way. She was drinking a large glass of healthy orange juice every morning, wondering why her blood sugar readings were so erratic. When she switched to eating one whole orange instead, her morning numbers stabilized within a week. "Grace," she told me, "I can't believe I was sabotaging myself with something I thought was good for me." Next, We need to talk about dried fruits. Those innocent-looking packages of dried cranberries, raisins, or dried mango strips might seem like healthy snacks, but they're concentrated sugar bombs. A small handful of raisins contains the sugar of multiple grapes, but without the water and fiber that would normally help your body process it slowly. If you love dried fruits, treat them like candy. A few pieces occasionally, not a daily snack. Overripe fruits can also surprise you. That banana with brown spots might be perfectly fine for banana bread, but its starches have converted to simple sugars. A rock-hard pear is very different from one that's soft and incredibly sweet. Even some tropical fruits like pineapple and watermelon, while nutritious, can affect blood sugar more dramatically if eaten in large portions. I'm not telling you to live in fear of food, my dear friends. I'm giving you knowledge so you can make informed choices. Understanding these differences puts you back in the driver's seat of your health journey. You become the expert on your own body, able to distinguish between foods that truly nourish you and those that might work against your goals. Knowledge is power, and power gives us confidence. And confidence allows us to enjoy our food without fear or guilt. As we enter these golden years of our lives, health isn't just about the numbers on our blood glucose monitor or the readings on our doctor's charts. It's about waking up each morning in our own homes feeling energetic and clear-minded. It's about having the stamina to play with our grandchildren, the mobility to tend our gardens, and the mental sharpness to enjoy deep conversations with old friends. These 5 fruits, strawberries, grapes, apples, mangoes, and oranges, they're not just foods. They're bridges to our past, connections to joyful memories, and gentle allies in creating a healthier future. When we eat them mindfully and with understanding, they become part of our daily practice of self-care and self-love. I think about my friend Eleanor, now enjoying strawberries on her porch again, feeling her husband's presence in those sweet moments. I think about Robert, guilt-free with his afternoon grapes and cheese, discovering that healthy eating can be genuinely pleasurable. Dorothy has reconnected with apples and the loving memory of her late husband Jim. Harold found unexpected joy in tropical mango combinations. And Carol has transformed her relationship with oranges into a meditation on mindfulness and gratitude. These aren't just success stories about blood sugar management. These are stories about people reclaiming their right to enjoy food, to experience pleasure without guilt, and to nourish both their bodies and their spirits in their golden years. You don't need to revolutionize your entire diet overnight. Start small. Be gentle with yourself. And remember that this is a journey, not a destination. Maybe it's adding an apple to your afternoon routine instead of reaching for that package of cookies. Maybe it's keeping a small container of grapes in your refrigerator for when that sweet craving hits. Perhaps it's taking 5 minutes to mindfully peel and enjoy an orange, turning a simple snack into a moment of meditation. Every small step matters. Every mindful choice is an act of love toward yourself. You have the wisdom of decades behind you, and hopefully, many wonderful years ahead. You deserve to fill those years with foods that both nourish your body and bring joy to your heart. You're not alone on this journey. I'm here, and thousands of others in our Golden Years Wellness community are walking this path with you. If something in today's conversation resonated with you, or if you have your own fruit story to share, please leave a comment below. Your experiences might be exactly what another person needs to hear today. Thank you for spending this time with me. Please hit that like button if this helped you. Share this video with friends who might benefit, and subscribe so we can continue this journey together. You deserve sweetness in your life, both literally and figuratively. You deserve health, joy, and the confidence that comes from understanding your body and treating it with love. Until next time, choose sweet moments, nourish your body wisely, and remember, your golden years can truly be golden.